For ages, I've been trapped here, counting hours like the sands of time. I've waited patiently, knowing destiny would set me free.
Hi, I'm Brendan. The game character formerly known as Prince is back for another romp through a crazy sandy adventure. This time round though, he's gone right back to his roots for a gritty blast back to the gaming pleasure that was 2003's The Sands of Time. I'm a firm believer of the franchise being at its strongest in the first 3D incarnation, and the games in between, and there are quite a few, have been somewhat lackluster. With this new edition, it really does feel like a retelling of the first game in a different light. The Prince is right back on form with his witty banter, and strong cutscenes with well thought out and rendered characters drive the story along.
There are traps everywhere!
I noticed.
There are puzzles aplenty, and more obstacles than you can shake a rusty sword at. Right off the bat, you're dropped into an empire under siege, with its ruler desperately trying to fend off attackers. There's plenty of action as you make your way through the battle, with flaming arrows missing you by moments, giant boulders slamming down around you. There are hordes of enemies for you to slaughter with some impressive sword combat. In fact, the combat system is very similar to that of the other games, but with some simplifications. They've done away with the two-handed combat in favour of the Sands of Time approach. A single sword is your friend, and is all you really need for now to protect yourself against the many threats. Some of the enemies you come up against will carry shields, which requires you to give a swift kick first to your foe to stagger them, then you can strike hard and destroy harder. Other satisfying moves are the jumping slash, and there are some nice context-sensitive moves where if you're near a wall or an edge, the Prince will pull off a nice finishing blow. There are, however, some occasions where the combat system feels a little flawed. For example, there is no block button, so you're often required to roll your way out of an attack. This can leave the game feeling a little chaotic, and occasionally the Prince will roll and get stuck on a wall. Also, the swing of the sword feels a little sluggish. You'll press the attack button and it will feel like an eternity before he swings the blooming thing. But once you've gotten to grips with how it works, you'll be chaining some nice attacks together. After mopping up 25 bad guys, taking no hits and finishing the last guy off with a swift stab to the gullet, you'll be left with a nice sense of achievement. The game will have you leaping and running across walls right from the word go, and all the platforming elements of the game have been very well executed throughout. The first 40 minutes of the game contains most of the standard tutorial bits and bobs, with more complex moves being learned later on. After a while, the game leaves it up to you to decide how best to tackle the obstacles in your path. But most of the game world is structured on a very linear basis, so you're constantly pushed in the right direction, with a subtle camera angle change here and a glowing light there. Also, the Prince often thinks out loud, giving you clues if you ever get stuck. Unfortunately, a lot of the elements you use to get around are the same. You'll lose count of how many lovely red tapestries you'll destroy, but if you're a fan of the series, it's just fun. And the different ways the elements are laid out really do make you feel cool as you fly through them like a Persian Tarzan. Now, there is some clever magic going on here in the way that your character progresses. You'll meet a mysterious lady made out of water, and she grants you the power of gin. No, not the drink. It provides our hero with the ability to control certain elements like time and, interestingly, water. See that leak over there? Kazap! Now it's solid and perfect for swinging on. Meeting this lady at certain points throughout the adventure will enable you to do many more impressive things and makes traversing the world more and more interesting as you go. Aside from the scarce water wench, you're given an upgrade screen that allows you to spend XP on upgrading your health, fighting moves, and can extend the length of your time control and element abilities. It's laid out in the very Dead Space node format that's been quite popular of late and works perfectly fine here too. The visual style has thankfully steered well clear of the cruddy cell shading of the last attempt in favour of a bang-up-to-date HD gritty beauty that really does do the series justice. If you're a fan of Sands of Time and have been longing for a similar experience, this is the one. Strap on your sandals, don your cutlass, and begin slashing your way on this incredible journey through the Forgotten Sands.
I am the Prince of Persia. Keep it real, keep it GameTank.